Takže sme teraz live. Sme live, OK. Dámy a páni, sme späť. Dnešný podcast je 35. diel, ale budeme hovoriť po anglicky. Pretože je tu dneska s nami Miguel. Miguel Gonzalez, a.k.a. something po anglicky.
Tak prepáčte ľudí, but...
Prepáčte ľudí, je dobré.
Často hovorím po slovensky, ale vieš čo nemôžem vydovrať?
Vydovrať?
Vyjadrovať.
OK, so you can just speak basic Slovak.
No, actually, I'm pretty good at speaking, but there's two problems that we have here. One of them is that I know you speak English. So when I know that you already speak English,
it's easier, yeah.
My level, it's like we have this expression in English, a crutch.
Oh, okay.
You know, when you injure yourself and it becomes a crutch for me.
Okay.
That's the first thing. The second thing is that I sound, moja slovenčina je primitívna.
Okay.
So that's one of the things that holds me back. And if I really want to express myself with somebody, then I have to do it in English.
Okay, so, but when you're buying groceries or stuff like that,
all the time.
Slovak?
When I'm, for example, traveling in the east of Slovakia, always Slovak.
Really?
And I find ways to express myself. Like I always tell this story because this is the one that makes the most sense. I'm not afraid to speak even when I don't know the words. Like one time I was trying to tell somebody about a hen. And
chicken. The big chicken.
Yeah, and I couldn't think of the word for... Because
yes.
I didn't want to say... It wasn't chicken. It wasn't krát. It was the other word. And I was like, how do I explain this word? And I was like, it's pani kohutova.
Oh, so well, it would be Mrs. Cock.
Yes.
So this is Miguel Gonzalez, great friend of mine, and you could also see him a couple of times in Peter's videos, Papa Peter's videos, because you were actually helping him with grammar in his videos.
Yeah, so actually I've been working with Peter for more than 5 years.
Okay.
And it's not just the grammar. It's like we go through everything. We do, for example, even pronunciation as well.
Okay.
Because some words are complicated for Slovak. So, and you know that Peter is trying to expand to an international audience, and he really needs to be on point with words. Because sometimes it's not really the American audience or the British, but it's other people that speak English that are very judgmental about how people speak. So we do that, and lately we are doing titulky for his new series. Subtitles for his new series in Latin America. So it's been quite a journey with him.
So you're also helping him now with the new series.
Yeah.
So if you saw the new series from Papa Peter, Miguel is responsible for translation of the Bolivian people,
Colombian people, and subtitles.
Okay. So we were talking about before we started. We were talking about that today is exact date that you are 16 years in Slovakia.
I don't know how this worked out.
I have no idea. Maybe it was a faith.
I think so too, because actually I arrived in Slovakia in 2006.
Okay, so it was November 6th.
It was on November 6, 2006, before Slovakia was in Schengen. Guess where I arrived to?
Where did you arrive?
Autobusová stanica.
Oh God!
In the evening, probably around this time. Can you imagine autobusová stanica then?
Okay, but what was your reason to move?
Well, I was living in Spain.
Yeah.
Before, so I'll give you the Spark Notes version, of the situation. When I finished university, I was really under the impression that with my education, I could go to Latin America and become some successful.
Okay, first of all, what did you study?
History.
Okay.
I studied history. I wanted to go to school for art, but I didn't because I need peñas.
Thanks.
But it wasn't worth it, to be honest, because history didn't help me. But anyway, I was like, okay, U.S. education. I'm going to go and find a job, right? Because I think one of my early dreams was to be really successful in a big company.
Okay.
So I went to Mexico first. No luck, because Mexico is a country that is extremely cool, really good food. Most of the people are really good, but when you are living there, there's a lot of competition, and they're not really open to other Latin people living in Mexico, which is really strange.
That's really strange, because basically, I mean, it's kind of Spain and Mexico in a lot of people's eyes is the same thing, just in different place.
And I mean, the immigration from Mexico to the U.S., like there's a lot of people going there. So I don't understand why they are against people coming in. Nevertheless, I found a job teaching English, but it just wasn't what I wanted to do. So
where did you teach English? In school or?
Yeah.
Okay.
In a school in Oaxaca is the name of the.
Okay,
this is in southern Mexico.
And you are from Guatemala, so people know.
Yeah. So I was born in the U.S., but my family is from Guatemala.
Okay.
I'm first generation Guatemalan American and fluent in Spanish. And I used to be in Italian as well, but forgot about it. So I went to Guatemala then, which is supposed to be my home country. But man, this is like Russell Peters, that comedian from Canada. He has a bit that he talks about being Indian and going to India for the first time.
Yeah.
And how you just don't fit in. Like it's always been a struggle for me because I never really identified as an American.
Okay.
I always felt like, like an outsider. Because it tends to be the reality of Latinos now, right? Especially us first generation Latinos. And then when I was in Guatemala, I did not fit at all because I don't speak like them. I don't have their mannerisms. I'm not used to the way things are there. And it's quite dangerous for people that are from there.
Yeah, you were telling about this.
Yeah, because actually I couldn't even visit my family that lives there because it's a huge family. We have like a Gonzalez compound.
Yeah.
So you can imagine.
And then really, I mean, don't want to sound it bad, but when I was searching your name, there's a lot of baseball players called Miguel Gonzalez. There's a lot of actors. There's like 3 actors that is called Miguel Gonzalez, and also like squash players or something like that. I don't know. There was a lot of sports people called Miguel Gonzalez. I couldn't search anything about you. So this podcast is basically gonna make your Wikipedia page. I'm gonna switch to Slovak for a brief. Jasné. Ľudia, tento podcast je špeciálne po anglicky. Bol by som veľmi rád, keby aj sa snažíte do toho chatu ísť trošku po anglicky. Keď sa nedá, tak pochopíme to, ale pre ten lepší feel z tohto podcastu, tak skúste. Okay, so we're back. Okay, so you went to Guatemala and you felt like you don't fit in.
Yeah.
So what did you do?
Well, before I lose my thought there, let me just finish with so there's the Gonzalez compound because people tend to live close to each other, right? So the grandparents and then the sons had the houses around.
So generation street, basically.
Yeah. And there's a lot of people that I didn't know, like a lot of cousins. And of course, some of them are involved with crime.
Oh, okay.
And it was very easy for them to, for example, kidnap me just to ask for money from my parents who live in the
that
U.S.
That happened to you?
No. It didn't happen, but it could happen.
Okay.
Now,
that's common in there?
It can be.
Oh, really?
But this is not, again, I want to be clear that this is not for tourists, right? Because tourism in this country is like a holy thing.
Oh, okay.
They don't mess with tourism. So if you want to travel to Guatemala, it's a beautiful place.
So it's basically reversed in Guatemala that they're kidnapping locals and not tourists.
Yeah, we're ruining each other.
What the fuck? Why?
Well, the situation is that, the Mexican army pushed the cartels outside of Mexico and they moved naturally.
So it's basically Modern Warfare 2 campaign.
Exactly. Like really, like you're...
Have you played the new Modern Warfare?
I was playing and I was like, is that my house in Guatemala?
Jesus. Oh my God. Okay, continue.
So I went to Guatemala and obviously I didn't fit in. I couldn't go anywhere. I was staying with an uncle, but that place was not the safest. So I was like, okay, I'll try Costa Rica because I worked for a language school in Guatemala that had schools throughout Central America. Went to Costa Rica and I was like, not liking it so much. So let me go back to Guatemala. And there I had probably one of the worst experiences, but the best experience at the same time. I was sitting at an internet cafe and I was with a MacBook. And this was me like completely dumb, not knowing or not realizing that in Guatemala as a local, sitting in a public place with a $2,000 laptop,
MacBook,
it's like asking for trouble.
Oh my God.
So guys came in and they asked me for the time, like, what time is it? And while I, raised the watch to look at the time, I feel something in the back. I have a gun here pointed at my back and a gun pointed at...
What the...
Yeah. But this is the thing that in Guatemala, they will kill you if you're a local for $100 phone.
Oh, so, and you pulled up with your fucking MacBook and Apple Watch.
I didn't have Apple Watch.
Okay,
then.
so
it's
watch.
Just a normal watch.
Basically.
Yeah. So
Jesus.
I was like, I'm dead.
Okay, what happened?
I was just the calmest.
Okay.
And I've read a lot and I heard a lot of people that have been in that situation where they think they're going to die or they think this is it. I was not scared. I was not worried. I kind of reflected that, okay, this is where it goes. And it was the most peaceful.
Really?
It is so strange, but I was so at peace that I was like, what can I do?
Huh.
So I was like, okay, take whatever you need. I took the phone. I was like, I also have a phone.
Mm-hmm.
And I took it out really slowly and gave it to them.
Mm-hmm.
They took it and left.
That was it. You kept your MacBook.
No. They
took everything.
Yeah, they took everything.
And
but
they left. And that was it.
the next day I was on a flight to Spain.
Oh, okay. Well, that reasonable choice. Yeah.
So
My God.
I mean, it was something else.
Well, they pulled the gun on me in Petržalka.
What, here in Slovakia?
Yeah, it happened here in Petržalka later in night. I was telling this story before. We were celebrating my friend Peter's birthday.
Uh-huh.
And it's like really shady part of Petržalka.
Barber Peter?
Yeah, Barber Peter.
Cool Peter.
Yeah, the cool Peter. Yeah.
Brutals.
Brutals Peter. Yeah, so we were celebrating his birthday. It was like maybe 5 years ago. And the two guys pulled up and they were telling us to leave. We were in front of a bar. We were waiting for our friends. I don't know. We were waiting for something. And we were just staying on the sideline. And two guys came in and told us to leave. Like immediately, we have to leave. And we were like, okay, we're just waiting for our friend. We're leaving immediately. No trouble. Just let us wait. One guy got so angry that we were still staying there. He went to his car and came back with the pistol and shot into the air. It was super loud. And
when was this?
4 years ago, 5 years ago.
4 years ago.
Yeah.
Nobody came. The police didn't
Nothing.
come.
What happened? We were super drunk. So maybe for the better, because if we were sober, we would be panicking and screaming like crazy. We were so drunk. I just hopped into my friend's car, or maybe it was an Uber. I don't really remember, and just left. And I realized what happened at home because I was super drunk. I was super shocked. I was just sitting at home and. Guy pulled a gun on me.
You didn't sober up because that would sober me up immediately.
It wasn't like sobering. It was really like a weird shock. Like you don't process the situation. You just deal with it immediately. So my instant reaction was just to run to my friend's car, or it was Uber. I don't really remember. And it just dropped me off at my home. But what happened? I was looking back when the guy shot in the air. And after like 3 minutes, there was like 15 people on the same spot. So I think there was going maybe some kind of drug deal. I don't know. It was really like, it hit me at home. Like 20 minutes after it hit me, like I could have died. What the fuck happened? So I can't understand how are you so calm?
Because there was nothing I could do.
Well, yeah, but...
I mean, the thing is, as I told you, that they will kill you for no reason at all.
Well, yeah.
Like it's... Like for nothing, they will kill you. So I just made that... I wasn't scared, man. It was like...
So whatever happens, happens. You just went kind of the nihilistic way.
But that's the push. That's the push that I needed to, because actually, originally, I always wanted to go to Europe, and I always.
So it was the push, the last push you needed.
I mean, and when I was actually how I left the States, it's kind of a funny story.
Okay.
Because I was working. I was accepted to go to university, Brown University, which is an Ivy League school. It's one of those Ivy League schools. It's one of the best universities in the world, and I couldn't afford to go. It was not. We just didn't have the money to. Right. My parents also didn't support me going to university, so they were not going to give me any money. Actually, that was one of the reasons that I ended up moving out of my house before being 18.
Okay.
Huge argument.
How old were you?
I was about to turn 18 in a couple months.
Okay.
But the situation was that, my dad wanted me to work. And I think about it, but he came from that line of thinking, right? That my dad didn't have shoes till he was like 9 years old.
Okay.
Like he was working as a child, right? It was a difficult life for him. So they saw the value in working, and they didn't think that education
would do anything.
Yeah. So argument, I left my house with salary that I had from working at Blockbuster at the time, if you know about Blockbuster.
Oh, God.
Video rent. I still have the thing at home.
Really?
With my name, yeah.
Oh, God.
My name tag.
That's cool.
For those of you that don't know, maybe you can explain.
You can. Well, back in the days, dear children, you needed to rent
Uyo Duklock will explain.
Yeah, Uyo Duklock will explain. If you wanted to watch a movie at home, you had to maybe buy it, but that was really expensive. So you could borrow it from shop like Blockbuster. Yeah. We had the same in Petržalka. Exactly.
There is still one on Šancova Street.
Yeah, you can see them. So and later you could also borrow video games.
Are you serious?
And
actually a Blockbuster too.
Yeah, and then there's still one last Blockbuster store in America that still works, and you can still rent. That's where the subscription models of video games came from. Like you could just pay monthly fee and just borrow video games.
They actually were huge, and they were doomed by Netflix. Netflix brought them down.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's true.
So back to my story, right? So I was working in Blockbuster, had my salary $300, and I left. And I started living on my own. And then I got into university because thankfully I had a good guidance counselor in the US and in high school. In gymnasium, I guess, you have this person that's assigned to you that's called a guidance counselor. And they will help you plan your future, apply to universities. And this lady, man, was so great that in the US, you have to take this test called the SATs, which is like an exam that you need to get into university. The higher the score, the better. I actually did really well. I got a 1600, which at the time was the best you could get. And that's why it was easy for me to get into that Ivy League school. But I didn't even have the money for this test. She gave me the money to take this test.
Okay. Shout out to her.
Yeah. Miss Davis. I took the test and got the good score. And then since I couldn't go to the good university, she was like, Miguel, you don't need to go to the best university. Just go to community college, which is like a public, almost free. Do well, and then you can go to a 4-year college. And at the end of this community college, you get something which is called an associate's degree, which is before a bachelor's. It's a 2-year degree in university. I went there for 2.
Iba rýchlo preložím pre niekoho, že je to v podstate skôr ako bakalár. Pred bakalárom môžete dostať toto, čo Miguel povedal, a potom máte bakalár na ten 3. rok. Okay?
And then 4 years bakalár.
Okay.
So I did really, really well there. I shined, and then I got a scholarship to go study in the city. Hunter College is called. And once I went there, I finished my education. The whole time.
So you were telling me that you were studying the history. So that was the college where you studied history?
No.
In the college?
There I studied humanities, and then I went to the history program in the second school for another 2 years to get the bachelor's degree. Because in the US, a bachelor's degree is 4 roky. It's not 3, it's 4.
Okay.
And many people like you here in Slovakia don't have a master's because it's very expensive, and it's 6 years of education. As you know, education is not free in the US. You have to pay.
People take loans for the entire life.
Luckily, I was working at Starbucks for that time, and I paid, everything. But I graduated, and back to my story. And my dad was actually in New York at the time, and he asked me to stay at my apartment. It was after graduation. I was like, what to do next? That night that he asked to stay, I told him before leaving for the night, I was like, you can sleep on the bed today, not on the couch, right? I drove to the airport, and I was looking for a flight to go to Spain. But at that time, Iberia, which is the airline that flies from JFK, New York, to Spain, they were on strike.
Oh, God.
So that was me walking around JFK looking for where to go. I looked at Brazil, I looked at other places, but there were no flights. The only flight was to Mexico.
Oh, fuck. The fate was like, no, you're not leaving.
You're not going now. Not now, my boy.
Yeah.
Not now.
What did you do?
I went to Mexico.
Fucking hell, man.
Yeah.
You just left there, didn't you?
Yeah, that's how I used to be. In the past, I was just like, if I was doing something, I was going to do it, because if I thought about it, I would not do it. And sometimes it's good to be like that.
Yeah, but sometimes you need to take a leap of faith.
Guys, don't do that when you're trying to go to another country.
Okay, so what happened?
So we go back to leaving the next day to Spain from Guatemala after that incident, right?
Okay.
I went to Barcelona, and there I met a Slovak girl.
Okay.
She was working at KFC, I remember. And fate would have it that when I was living there, I needed to change my apartment. Like I knew the girl, but nothing was happening. And I needed to come 3 days earlier to the new apartment. And the landlord was like, yeah, the girls that are living here are going to move, so you can come and sleep on the couch. And when I went to that apartment, it was that girl. That was
Hell yeah.
Nothing happens by accident, right? You can see how all these
I
things...
mean, this podcast doesn't work like an accident. I mean, it's the exact day that you're 16 years in Slovakia, and this girl was the reason.
And we're still great friends. Like, actually, I just helped her with the translation of her kid's book. Her name is Katarina Matsurova.
Okay,
she's
shout
great. And her parents are so amazing. I call them Mamcha and Papcha.
Ah, okay.
Every time I meet them, give them a hug. Like they were very welcoming and warm people, because I came with the expectation that people wouldn't accept me, because you hear and read things about this place.
Yeah, well, that's what I was telling you about when we were hanging out, that in Slovakia there's a lot of racist people. So it's not... I can imagine it wasn't really the easiest adaptation to this country.
No, and this was the thing, that what I discovered, Dusan, is not that... I think more than racist, I think ignorant. And not ignorant being stupid, but they just haven't met somebody. Because I met, in the beginning when I came, like I met so many people that were genuinely interested to just sit and understand like why I'm here. Or so many guys were buying me shots and drinks and just wanted to have a beer with me. Like the amount of racism that I've encountered is so small. It's less than Spain, for example. Spain is probably the most racist country that I've been to.
Okay.
And then
that's interesting.
Mexico.
Well, maybe the ignorance, maybe that's a great point, because the biggest difference between Slovak people and Czech people, I think, personally, is that the people in Slovakia really are afraid of a change. Like they really don't welcome change pretty well. And if you look at Czech people, they always have something new going on. So maybe that was the point I was trying.
They leveled up, because I also see it, for example, back day when I was still dating, or when I was in the Czech Republic, like no problem to talk to a girl. They would talk to me. And here in Slovakia, it's always been a difficult case. Like that it's not the same as in the Czech
Okay,
Republic.
so the girl from the Spain, the Slovak girl, you came with her to Slovakia?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
We kept in contact and we were chatting. Back in those days, it was MSN Messenger, I think. I'm really giving you a throwback to what used to be. So I guess it would be the equivalent Facebook Messenger now. And we were just talking about it, but it was the economic crisis in Spain, and I couldn't get a job. And I was already in the European Union longer than I should have been. So I needed to leave. So I was like, okay, I'm going to go back home. But she was telling me, you could try to come to Slovakia.
Okay.
No, Bratislava, she said.
Okay.
I was like, what is Bratislava? Like, I don't consider myself to be a dumb person, but I just didn't know the city of Bratislava. I just couldn't figure where is it going to be.
Okay.
Right? And then I thought about it, but I was scared because I'm like, what am I getting into? And then one day I come and I open my email and I find a plane ticket from Barcelona to Vienna from Sky Europe, which is also another airline that doesn't exist. And I was like, okay, let's do it. But it was a risky decision, Dusan, because...
Well, yeah. I mean, back in the day...
But not only because of that, because if I got checked, my passport got checked anywhere on my journey...
You could have been sent back.
I could have been deported from the EU.
God.
And not come back for up to 5 years.
So you were just traveling with this tiny asshole.
Yeah, I mean, I wish.
Okay, but no. Okay, so you came to Slovakia with the stress that you could be deported anytime.
No. Once I got to Slovakia, I was safe because Slovakia was out of Schengen.
Oh, really?
So I would get a new pechatka on my stamp, on my passport, right?
Okay.
And be fine. But it was anywhere to Vienna. But luckily, I got to Vienna and nobody checked the pages anywhere in the back where stamps were. I made it fine, but then I got it to my last part, which was a bus ride from the airport.
From Vienna to Bratislava.
This was risky.
Okay.
Because they could have stopped, right? But when I got to the border and they got on the bus, I tell you, Dusha, this is, again, fate. This immigration policeman gets in. He's checking every single person on the bus. And to me at that time, every person looked European, like blonde-eyed, like you. sitting on the bus. He checked every single person.
But
I
not
was sitting
you?
on the back. No. He got to me. He looked at me and he was like, and left.
Really? Oh God, you're the only person was you.
Yes, that he
Oh
didn't
God,
check. That he didn't check.
Jesus. Well, that was fate. And skip 16 years and we're here. Okay, continue. So you came to Bratislava and then what?
Autobusová stanica.
Yeah, Nivy, Staré Nivy.
Oh my God! And if this was Stare
Staré
because
Nivy,
it went through several
Yeah.
reconstructions, right?
Oh Jesus.
And oh man, I was like, what did I get myself into? Like, where is this? Because I didn't see any of the nice parts.
It must be really like a cultural shock as well, because 16 years ago, Bratislava looked worse than now, and it looked really like communistic. And
It's been a beautiful thing to see how the city has evolved.
Oh yeah.
And I always measure the evolution not by the buildings or anything like that. I measure but what I can buy at the grocery store.
Okay.
I remember when I could buy coriander. I was like, what? We are moving along. And then
I hate coriander, by the way. But okay.
I need to make something for you with coriander, and you will change your mind.
Okay.
And then I remember when avocados, you could buy them because there was a time where you couldn't buy avocados here. Can you imagine that?
Well, not today.
And I was like, well, progress.
Okay, you came to Bratislava, you came to Hlavná stanica. What did you do?
Well, I was with the girl then.
Yeah, sure.
I met her and we would just, we had a coffee on some bus cafe that was there. And then we went back to, I don't remember if her parents or the apartment that we were renting.
Okay.
And then it was about finding a job, right?
Yeah, so what did you do?
I didn't know what to do. I guess the only thing that I could do was to teach English. And actually the next day, because I arrived at night, I wrote an email to a language school. And the same day the guy replied because native speakers were not.
Yeah, it was hard to find them. Yeah.
It was a huge commodity. Like, it was a really good job to have then. And the guy wrote me immediately, no interview, no nothing, just...
Nice, okay.
I had a job the same day.
That's great. I mean, a lot of people find it difficult to find a job, especially nowadays with... if someone like you came to Slovakia right now, he would have a hard time. Yeah. So you got kind of lucky.
Especially now, it's next to impossible because of the immigration process, right? Back then, the schools would sponsor you. To go through the immigration process because you need permission to live in Slovakia and to work in Slovakia. But back then, literally, you could buy a bag of Slovakia chips and inside was your trvalý pobyt. like it was so easy to do it. It's just expensive.
Oh, yeah, okay.
But it was easy. Well, I'm lying. It wasn't easy. But when you compare it to now...
Yeah, you imagined it being harder.
Yeah.
Okay. So you got... First day you got a job as a teacher, English teacher. For how long have you been teaching English?
Man, I don't know the exact amount of years. 3 or 4 maybe.
Okay, 3 or 4 years.
But from before I was also teaching, and I was still teaching after I finished officially, right? But why I changed my job is because I was teaching. I was teaching at Narodná banka at one point, for example, and a lot of companies. Yeah.
Okay.
This was the funniest.
You were teaching people English there?
Yes.
In banka, in bank.
And I was teaching at the most interesting time when Slovakia made it to the Euro. And I was teaching I can't remember what one of the guys that helps to write speeches for the governor, because that's what they call the main guy at the bank, right? And I remember how we were correcting one of the speeches, one of the letters actually that was going to go to the Czech representation, telling them, "Oh, dear Czech brothers, we can help you to get to the Euro."
No,
they were rubbing that so much on the Czechs. It was such an experience. But not everything was good because a short time after I arrived, that girl that I was here for, she got a scholarship to go study in Mexico.
Oh God! Oh, full circle, Jesus. So she left and you stayed here.
Well, this is the thing that she came to me, she was crying, and we were like, I wasn't going to be the person to get in her way because that only leads to resentment.
Yeah, sure.
I was like, you need to go. But imagine me, I didn't know anybody.
Yeah, well.
I didn't know anything. I didn't have friends. I didn't speak the language. And back then, it was not the same.
What was the year?
2006.
It was the same year?
Yeah.
Okay, so you came to Bratislava and the same year she left to Mexico?
like within a matter of weeks.
What the fuck? So basically, you just got fresh restart in 2006.
Yeah.
Jesus, what did you do? How can you? You are
It
really.
was hard.
I mean, you really. I see you as when I met you, I saw you as a shy guy, but really easy to talk to.
Because I am an introvert.
Yeah.
Like not many people realize that I'm an introvert that functions as an extrovert.
Yeah, that's kind of weird about you. Yeah, when I'm thinking about it right now. Yeah.
I really enjoy peace and quiet and being alone, and I really get drained from social interaction. But I can turn it on.
Yeah, I can. Yeah, well, we can see it now.
Because that's what you need to do, right? But yeah, she had to leave, and it was really hard, man. I remember those times where, for example, like even going to the grocery was complicated for me because this is a story that I tell people, but I guess I should tell you as well. The story is that we used to have a Lidl there.
Yeah.
And I learned like some numbers and I learned some expressions, and I would go to the Lidl, and the lady there would always call me, can we curse here?
Sure.
Call me a cocotte.
Why?
I have no idea. I thought that she was angry with me, or I thought that she might have been racist. This is me thinking that she was racist, right? And
Lady in Lidl.
yeah.
From all places.
Predavačka, this really old lady. But the thing is that she always smiled when she was calling me cocotte. So I'm like, what's wrong with this lady?
She was telling you are a cocotte in your face?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
And you did know?
At the beginning, no,
You
but
didn't,
then I learned the bad words from people, right? So I was like, okay.
Lady. Oh, what the fuck?
I asked my roommates, because I think by then the girl had already left. Like, why is this lady doing that? They couldn't understand it. So I asked one of my roommates to come with me to the shop. We went together to Lidl. I was getting the stuff. I was getting the bread and the milk and stuff. And then she did it in front of my friend. She was like, cocotte. And then I look at my friend, did you hear it? And she's like, Miguel, colco.
Oh, God, no way, man. Really?
But this is this is what happens to a lot of us foreigners, because I'm in a lot of the foreigner groups, that we think that people are have prejudice or being racist, but sometimes it's just
it's misunderstanding. Okay, so she was always asking you how much, and you thought she was saying cocotte. Nice, man.
Yeah, that's one of those stories, right? Or riding the bus, like I remember how the babkas were sitting on the bus in Petrošačka, because I'm sure that I was one of the first like brown people in Petrošačka.
Yeah, kind of, yeah.
They would take their kabelka closer every time it was. But also I had good experiences. Like when she left, I went to party a lot, right? So I met a lot of people out partying.
Introverted person went to party.
Well, brother has to make friends.
Yeah, well, that's how we made friends. You went just to clubs?
In the beginning, I used to go to this place called Alligator or Harley Davidson.
Alligator? Near the cemetery.
That's Harley Davidson, but Alligator used to be on Laudinska.
I mean the Harley Davidson. Okay.
They used to have like the ring and that stuff. But story there is that it was hard for me in the beginning, because I'm not the kind of person that approaches people. Like even with
So you just went there by yourself and sit there and waiting for someone to talk to you?
Like the old chutney sitting by myself, drinking my pivo.
Okay, well, that's kind of brave from you,
Well,
especially
what
back
was
in
I
the
going to
day.
do?
Well, yeah, I mean...
The thing, I never felt unsafe, right? And in Petrošačka, walking at night home, like I think people were more afraid of me than...
Really?
I think so.
Interesting.
Nobody would want to do something to me, I think. But one of the ways that I found to connect with people was to actually learn the songs that you guys had.
Oh, yeah, that's when you tell me you love Elan.
I love Elan.
Yeah, well, I have the vinyls for you. I actually
must
have them
give
at
them
my
to me.
house. Yeah.
You must give them to me.
I will, don't worry. Yeah, Miguel loves Elan.
But the thing is that I learned so many of their songs, and I had no idea, and I still don't know what all of them mean. So I was picking up the songs. I was picking up songs by Dara Rolincova too, by Michal David. Dude, I was singing like Disco Psibe. No idea what I was singing.
That's great.
But that made me friends.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, music is such a huge part of our culture,
It was what I found to connect with people, and that's how I made it to the beginning, right? Then I made my friends, and
Okay.
And life was
And then
good.
one of your friends that you made via music told you that predavačka in Lidl wasn't calling you kokot, but she was just
No, that was
asking
my
you.
roommate.
Oh, that was your roommate. Okay.
That did it.
Okay, so you were telling me that you were teaching English for 3 years. So until 2000.
Maybe more. I still do actually, and actually, tomorrow I start again at the airport.
Really?
I was teaching before air traffic controllers
Okay.
English, and I had to stop. Well, I had to stop because they canceled their education. But starting
so
again,
occasionally you're still teaching English.
only to limited group of people.
Okay.
Or really good former students.
Okay, so let's say from 2006 until 2010, you were doing it as your main thing. And what after? What did you do?
I was sent to work at different companies, as I told you, and one of them was a computer company. And they liked me a lot there, and I went to work for them, actually. I left the language school and started working for them.
Okay, but you... when did your obsession with collecting technological and nerdy stuff happen?
It's always been.
It's always been there. Okay.
Most of the stuff that I have at home that you've seen is stuff that my mom's shipped.
Oh.
Man, I used to have so much more stuff. And my mom threw it out because my mom became this religious zealot. And everything that she found, she's like, oh my God, this is the devil's.
The devils!
That's her favorite expression.
Okay.
Es del demonio.
Okay, so for people who don't know and watching the podcast, Miguel is collecting everything Nintendo-related, movie-related,
Pokemon-related.
Nintendo-related, basically. Yeah, well, Miguel's apartment is big museum of weird Nintendo shit. He also gave me Super Nintendo.
No, it's
Oh,
Nintendo.
you gave me the Nintendo. Yeah, you still have yours. Yeah, he gave me Nintendo Entertainment System because he had spare 6.
I have 3.
3. You told me you had 6.
No, I only have 3. I thought I did, but I only have 3.
So,
You have the 4th.
okay.
So at home now I have 4 at home.
Yeah,
and
so-
you have the 5th.
Okay, so if you watch Miguel's podcast, the background behind him, it's not green screen. People were asking me yesterday.
Are you
started
serious?
your podcast and you had the green screen filter on. People thought the whole thing behind you was green screen. It's not. You have everything.
I had a really strange childhood where I wanted a lot of things and I didn't get them. So I think that made me now that I could afford it, buy whatever I wanted, right? I never, if I can avoid it, like deny myself stuff. Because also I have this mentality that you never know when. It's from the Guatemala experience. So I never know when I'm going to die. What am I saving tons of money for? For whom?
Yeah.
Right?
So you're buying shit.
So I buy stuff that I like and I enjoy.
Every time I get a message from Miguel, it's like, I got this cool new shit. You want to unbox it? And I'm like, what the fuck? Where did you get that?
But this is the thing, because it's strange, but one of my things that makes me the happiest is not to buy shit for myself, but I really like making people happy or gifting people stuff. I find more pleasure in that because when I buy something for myself, it's look at the Steam Deck that I brought you today.
Yeah, well,
it's dusty because
you don't use it. Yeah.
no, and I love it. I mean, I
really enjoy technology as a fun thing, but I usually don't use everything I have. I have like 6 phones there, like they're just locked in the closet. So okay, let's talk about how we met, Miguel, so people know why are you here, and so we can kind of wrap your origin and move to other stuff.
My origin story.
Yeah, your origin story. But ľudia, teraz trošku switchnem na slovenčinu. Ja vidím, že niektorí z vás sú nervózni z toho, jak tu rozprávame po anglicky, ale choďte do piče. Nie, ako nechcem byť kokot, ale proste majte trošku rešpektu. Hovoríme dneska po anglicky. Miguel proste rozpráva lepšie po anglicky, tak nechceme, aby sa trápil. Takže, okay, so first time we met was actually when Peter was recording a video. It was about winter in Slovakia, I think.
It might have been. No. It was the time where there was the God and the angels.
That was afterwards.
Really?
First time you were here, we just saw each other. We just shook hands and never talked because I was streaming or something. You were recording the part with the black snow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was the Indiana Jones video.
Yeah, it was actually where you are sitting. It was right there because behind you was the Peter's wall and there was the huge wall. So where you're sitting.
But it must have been covered. Because I don't remember seeing any of that.
Yeah, there was wall. The where you have the Last of Us crate, there was a wall all over through the length of this room, and behind you was Peter's wall with the beers and everything. So that was the first time we met. Next time you were shooting the God thing, where Roman was actually featured.
He was an angel.
Yeah.
He's still an angel.
Shout out, Roman.
Come on, chat. Give a shout out to Roman in the chat.
Yeah, then there we kind of talked a bit, and then afterwards you came here when I got the PS5.
Yeah, so that's an interesting story because I was freaking out. You know my obsession with having things on day one.
Now I know.
Yeah,
I didn't know because I got PS5. It was under embargo, so I couldn't show. I couldn't show anything online or on video or on stories or anything. And Miguel came over with Peter because Peter was still recording his stuff. And you asked me if you could try, and I said sure. And after that experience, Miguel was so thankful. He gave me stuff for unboxings and shit like that. So that's the first time we interacted.
Because that's, I am thankful when people are kind to me. And I will go to the end of the world for people that are kind to me. But also people that are not, I will not spend 1 second. Like, that's how it works for me. Like, maybe it's good or bad, but I focus my time on the people that are worth it.
So you are the second or third person that ever tried PS5 in Slovakia.
It was amazing. I was so happy after that, man. It was a Spider-Man game too.
Yeah, it was the Miles Morales.
But I was freaking out because I couldn't get the reservation for it.
Yeah, that was people struggle to this day with that
on
shit.
Everything. Like it's a struggle here. Like when I pre-order something, you know my struggle with the watch and the iPhone now. I actually went to a few different shops to try to get it, but thankfully I knew a couple of people in one shop that I should not name, and I was able to get it. Corruption, guys. It works the best here.
Yeah, well, Slovakia is known for his corruption. Okay, yeah, let's move on. You want more water? Yeah, you just use this, yeah.
Oh, I like this. I might steal it.
Well, I have more. You can take some. You have your cards, right?
No, you didn't give them to me yet.
Okay, I have spare ones. Okay.
Beautiful.
Hell yeah. I didn't? I think I did.
No.
Really?
You said you forgot them. You didn't have any, you said.
They arrived again, so I can give you some. Okay, so that's when we met. And actually, if you watched the Apple Cloth video, Miguel is responsible for the Apple Cloth. Funny story, that video is demonetized by manual control. I don't know.
How?
I have no idea.
Like, what did you say that was so wrong?
In the beginning, I had Medamong and Champion like this, and I just did this. And that's the whole thing. After manual review, it's yellow. So thank you, Miguel.
I'm so sorry. But now I understand these struggles because actually after Jakub Lužina in my podcast,
it's yellow.
Every other episode, regardless of the content, was yellow. But I actually went back and requested a review.
And it's green?
Now everything is green.
Yeah.
I don't dare to request a review for Lužina.
Yeah, well, maybe you should, though. Because the worst thing can happen is they say, no, it's still yellow.
It's not going to be a problem for my account?
It's the same as it's now. The worst scenario is it's going to go back to yellow.
I didn't know. I thought they would be like,
No. Yeah, usually when you get strike and then you try to get the review again, that's usually when it gets bad, if it's really gonna be red.
Okay.
But if it's yellow, it's fine. I put it to review every time.
If it's yellow, let it mellow. If it's brown, flush it down.
Nice. Okay, so after Kubo Lužina, you got yellow. I think Kubo Lužina as a tag on YouTube is really bad for you.
This was the problem because the episode wasn't even live.
And you already got yellow. Right, so Kubo Lužina is demonetizable.
Anytime that I put his name anywhere.
Yeah, well, that's usually our struggle as well.
But
we have yellow on everything, so it's fine.
But you are doing okay.
Well, kinda. Well, usually the best reliable source, or not the reliable source, but the best source of income, so we don't have to worry about yellow dollars. It's merch and Medmong and stuff like that. But that kind of works in a weird way because Medmong is fucking my channel up.
How?
Right now. It still think it's drugs.
Can I have one?
You should.
But some yummy.
Which one do you want?
I want to focus.
You had the new
You gave it to me and I would like to.
You want to focus or?
Yeah, I want focus. No, I want to focus.
No, focus is this. This is vitamins.
I want both.
Okay. But you should chew it so you don't have, like you don't sound weird on the microphone.
I'm not sure.
I'll take one as well. So, That's kind of weird relationship with the channel because Medmong is kind of great support of the revenue income, but also it fucks my channel over. So.
I have to be really honest. I was extremely skeptical about this product till you actually came to my podcast.
And you got addicted.
And I tried it. Yeah, I mean, I can't afford it now, but at some point I want to get the yearly subscription. That's
I will give you some.
such a
It's
good
fine.
deal.
I have some.
No,
more.
but see, this is the thing that I don't want to take things for free because I want to support. Like, that's the worst thing that your friends can do, ask you for free stuff.
But you're not asking. I'm giving it to you.
But still, you know.
I mean, you can support it in other ways. It's fine.
I have it in my background there. Just because I like it.
It's not green screen. He actually has it.
I actually ordered.
Okay, Miguel, tell me this. I was at your apartment. You have crazy shit. You have Supreme Chucky doll. Fuck off, man. In the corner of your room.
And the real Chucky doll, too.
You have the real Chucky doll and then Supreme version of the real Chucky doll.
And actually, one more thing. From the new Chucky movie, I actually bought props.
There's new Chucky
used.
movie.
Yeah.
Okay, you bought props?
So I have actual screen-used unicorn that Chucky stabbed in the movie.
How much did it cost?
Not a lot because it was an auction and nobody liked the movie. So,
okay,
but it will be worth a lot of money one day.
I wanted to ask you, what is the most expensive shit you got? Because there's a lot of things I couldn't.
Oh God!
A lot of things I couldn't focus on every single bit. You have so much shit. What was the most expensive one? And people who will watch this episode and watch your episodes later need to find it in your setup.
I think that the most expensive thing that I don't know if it's the most expensive, but definitely the most valuable is I have a Nintendo console, the same that I gave you, that is signed by the designer.
Oh, yeah.
Who actually was here in Bratislava.
I remember.
Actually, everybody hated me that day.
Really? Yeah, because you told me you were kind of annoying? Or?
No, because I took everything that I could think of for him to sign. And
Poor guy.
But I mean, nobody went up to sign it. And that wasn't the time to be shy about it because that guy is like a...
Okay, but I think that's the most valuable thing you have.
Yes.
But right now I'm talking about item that you spend most money on. You have some weird shit there.
Probably Pokemon cards.
Pokemon cards?
Yeah, because I have the original base set from 1998 that I collected. Complete set.
How much did you pay for that, man?
Nothing. It was the packs were like...
okay, so I'm telling you...
you want to know buying, not what it's worth.
Yeah, okay. I will. We will talk about the worthy stuff later. Let's start with most expensive.
Probably my screen projector, my TV.
Oh yeah. You have the Philips Hue stuff around the
around the screen. Just the screen was a lot of money, but the short throw projector from Samsung that you don't need to put it on the wall. You just put it down and it shoots.
Okay. So
4K.
That's the most expensive. And the most valuable you are saying is Pokemon cards or the Nintendo?
The Nintendo for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
You're a
the
big Nintendo guy. Yeah.
For sure. And my statues too. Those statues in the background.
Yeah, well, the Bowser is great.
Bowser,
that lights up.
Don't tell me about Bowser.
No, not the Lego one. The statue.
Don't tell me about him because he came out 7 years ago. And I couldn't afford him.
Oh, okay.
Because I wasn't in the same place in my life. Like I was making money, but not that kind of money, right?
Okay, how much was the Bowser?
Bowser nowadays cost me about almost 3.5K.
3.5K? 3,500 euros?
3,500.
3,500.
Yeah.
Euro.
Yeah.
What?
So he's worth a lot more. He goes for like 5-6K.
It's pet stuff.
He's limited. There's 700 pieces of him. And I have the exclusive edition with the fire that lights up.
Yeah, that lights up. Yeah, I know.
I know it might seem crazy to some people, but how can I put a price on something that I wanted for so long? And I love him every day that I look at him.
I understand.
I mean, like...
I understand, but I'm sure a lot of people won't.
Well, I mean, I worked for that.
Okay, so how did your obsession with Nintendo started? When you were... I assume it was when you were a child, but...
Yeah, I mean, from playing video games, right? Because I think it was a different reality for me. Because I grew up in the States, right? So Nintendo is there.
Yeah, sure.
And I think that for you guys, your first real experience was, unless somebody had German family and they sent them a Nintendo, it was PlayStation that was
Actually, my first console ever that I had, video game console, was Game Boy Advanced. I still
What?
have it here. Yeah, because
You have to show me.
I will. I have Pokemon Leaf Green, Pokemon Emerald. I have all the shit. I had even Crash Bandicoot on the. Yeah, it was great.
You had a good childhood then.
Well, it was kind of lucky because there was this guy that was selling it. My stepfather's friend. He was selling it for really cheap.
Mm.
So my mom bought it for me, and I was hooked already. And then my cousin had Nintendo Wii. And I was like, "Fuck PlayStation! I don't care. I want to, slash stuff and it was really cool to me. And like maybe 3 years after that, I saw the console. Actually, my parents bought it for me, and since then I love Nintendo. I was playing Super Mario Bros. I was playing Spore for Wii. That was
And you
Spore
promised me
Heroes,
that you will play Majora's Mask and Ocarina of Time.
For sure. But afterwards, after Nintendo Wii, I didn't have any Nintendo console.
That's a shame.
And the Switch was the next one that I bought, because afterwards the PlayStation 4 came out, and I really liked how the PlayStation kind of did the thing. So yeah, I was a huge Nintendo guy, but then after I had also PSP, PlayStation Portable, but I was still.
I still do. I have a Vita that I modded.
You have Vita?
That I modded.
You are the only person I know that has Vita.
What?
Nobody has Vita.
It's the best console for emulation.
Well, I heard about that, but I don't know anyone who has Vita.
I need to show you next time because
Is
it's
it
freaking
true that
great.
you can connect it to your PS3 and it kind of works like Wii U?
It used to be, but that functionality I think was removed. And you need the cable link, so you could use it like that. But I don't know if they removed it or not. But I got the Vita with the OLED screen. That's a beautiful console. And actually, I don't know if you saw that. What's the name of the guy that does the Twitch product videos?
Twitch product?
Where he gets scammed by Twitch products. He blew up because he made a video about about PlayStation, the new revision, putting out too much heat. Evans.
You know the man? Never.
That Evans guy.
I don't know.
Anyway, he was doing a video about the Sony handheld systems. And he was touching on the Vita, and really, I think it was the best handheld ever made.
Vita, really?
Yeah. I mean, OLED screen, 3G, controls, touch. Did you ever play Tearaway on the Vita?
Tearaway, no. I never played on Vita.
So I'm going to remind me, I will bring you the game and the console.
Okay.
And you need to play it because it's one of the best games ever made.
Okay.
Tearaway is also on PS4, but they didn't have the touch thing.
And that's a shame because, you know, Dusan, you have the Vita.
I know there's the touch thing on the back side.
In some of the puzzles, you have to tear through the game because it's a paper-based game and you are pushing your fingers through.
Oh, that's interesting.
Of course, it was a little bit jarring because when I pushed, it showed a white finger, and I'm like, I don't remember being white. It wasn't that's not my finger.
And that was also the problem because a lot of games which was exclusive for PS Vita will don't come out on the regular console.
PlayStation, yeah.
It's such a shame.
You have like Uncharted Golden Abyss, but
okay.
they got the touchy thing.
And so you couldn't port it to PlayStation. Yeah,
you can do
understand.
I mean, this was an issue when they released for example, the PlayStation Vita TV or TV, which was the console that you could connect to your TV and was playing PSP and PS Vita and PlayStation 1 games. They couldn't bring Tearaway, for example, to it.
Interesting.
So, but you need to play it. I will bring it.
Okay.
To you.
Well, my most premium experience with handheld console was when the Nintendo 3DS came out. My cousin had it day one, and he was like, "Let's go to the park. I will show you something." And he had this weird card with the 3DS. He put it on a bench in the park, and he was like playing games
the
around
AR.
it. And I was like, "What the fuck is going on?"
That was the AR. That's the thing about Nintendo, that Nintendo
knows how to make games.
Yeah, and they are not afraid to do their own thing, right?
Yeah.
They go at their own pace. And it's a shame that people in Slovakia don't give Nintendo a chance, I think.
Yeah,
but
that's
at the
true.
same time, I'm extremely happy about it because I never have any problems
With
getting a
Nintendo-
collector's edition.
Yeah. You told me about it. You always get the
But those
collector's stuff.
AR card was also in a PS Vita, I think. But I
Might have
thought I
been.
lost it.
Might have been. I have the box, actually.
Yeah.
Somewhere I should look.
Of course you have the box. You have everything.
of the stuff that I'm interested in, but for sure I do. We actually didn't touch about my controversy though.
Yeah, well, I wanted to continue with that because Miguel told me when he arrived before the podcast that he had some controversy about his nightlife in Bratislava. So I wanted to hear about that experience. Can you share with us?
Yeah, actually, this experience led me to be in a book.
Oh, really?
Yeah, which kids use in school.
Okay, well,
In a proper school book.
Okay, so it's like a proper school book. So you're in učebnica.
Hey.
Really?
Hey.
Okay, what was the experience?
You too, no? You're in some book there.
Zošit. It's like yeah.
No, it's the same.
Yeah, well, it's educating children.
It's cooler actually because they can doodle on your face without consequences.
You don't have picture?
Yes, I do.
Well, so they can doodle on you as well.
And also, it was in a book by a guy who writes for Jenik N.
Really?
Yeah, I also had I had articles in Novi Chas everywhere.
Really?
Yeah. So I'm surprised that you didn't come across it, but also happy about it.
Okay, so I can hear it from you. Okay.
So the situation was that we never had any problems like this in Bratislava. First of all, I want to preface with this. And my friend from Switzerland was visiting, and he came with a friend who was also from Switzerland, but he happened to be Tamil from Sri Lanka, right? But still born in Switzerland, like. And we went out and we were having a great time. Like we went everywhere, no issues. He met two girls, and of course he wanted to follow them, and he wanted to go to a club. I don't know if I should mention it. Probably, Alize. You can find out.
Yeah, well,
Priatelja.
I never heard a good story from that place. So
well, me neither. I didn't go there at all. Like I would not go to that place. But he wanted to go with the girls because they were interested. Okay, so I was like, I'm going to be a good host and I will take them there. We waited in the line. The girls got let in. Then when it was our turn, he went first and they said no.
Okay.
That it was full. So we were like, okay, we just wait for the girls to come back out, right? But while we're waiting, we start to see that more and more people are going in.
Okay.
In.
Okay, so they didn't let you in?
No, and I was like, okay, what's happening? And then huge discussion. They were making fun of us. And then somebody inside the bar yelled that they don't let N-words in. I will not say the word.
Oh, Jesus.
I was so angry. I took some pictures and I went home with the guys. And I made a post on Facebook that this is what happened at this place. These people called us this. This is what happened. Went to bed. When I woke up, that post had exploded. It was being shared by everyone.
Oh, God. Okay.
Everyone. You can imagine. In Slovakia. And their page was like, they used to be reviews there. It was completely liked. 1 star. And listen, people were like, they had to shut down their page, right? And then after that, the newspapers started calling me, right? So I spoke to Hospodárske noviny, SME, but the one that wanted to talk to me the most was Novi Čas. And actually, Novi Čas was freaking everything that happened in that case, they had an article. Like when I met with the owner, Miguel meets with the Majtela.
Oh, God. Okay, so it was a big thing.
It was a huge thing.
Okay. I didn't know.
Yeah, and I remember that when I went to the meeting with the owner there, it was scary, dude. Okay. Because he thought that I had done that to be politically motivated or I was doing it to harm him in some way.
So he thought you did it on purpose.
Yeah. Luckily, I went with a very good friend who was influential and I will not name, but he kind of backed me up that I wouldn't do that. And we looked at the video because he was told a different story. We looked at the video and it was clear. I mean, you couldn't hear what they said, but it was clear from what they were doing, trying to take my phone away and also their behavior. They were doing monkey...
Really?
Pantomimes and
Jesus.
stuff. So, yep. So from that, I was scared. Initially, I thought that they would come for me. And I even met one of the guys in a pub one time when I was partying. I was for a long time really scared to go into the city because I was also being harassed by that whole neo-Nazi crew.
Sure.
And I found out that who the guy was, and he's a very well-known neo-Nazi who is associated with that whole thing with Daniel Tupich from...
Oh, God.
So for a while, I was thinking, do I stay in Slovakia or what do I do? But I was like,
what happened when you met the guy?
He took pictures of me.
Really?
He was taking pictures of me.
But I like with you, or you didn't know?
No, I didn't know. I just saw the flash.
Oh, okay.
And then I chased him outside and he disappeared. But I guess he wanted me to follow him.
I guess
But,
so.
I'm KUKNI. I didn't follow him.
And that was like when it was. What year was this?
I really don't remember what year it was.
Could be more than 8 years ago.
Probably.
Okay, so a
Probably.
long time ago.
Yeah.
And since then, you had some bad experience with this kind of shit. Or
After this, no. And
Really?
actually, I go back to what I was telling you before, that I'm active a lot in these foreigner groups, and quite often you hear somebody who's new to the city complain about racism or bad behavior, and quite often it's this cultural thing, because I find that racist people in Slovakia, it's a small minority.
You really think so?
I absolutely wholeheartedly believe it. I think there's overwhelming amount of nice people here. And a lot of people just need to meet you. Because I met a lot of people that were also skeptical, and when I got to meet them, like...
Interesting.
But I don't blame them, though. You know, what can you expect of a culture that is not used to?
Well, that's what we were talking in the beginning. Like, it's usually the ignorance. It's not maybe the racism.
Yeah.
It's just the people don't know, and they are kind of scared of new stuff or things that they are not common to. You know.
I mean, I give you the perfect example. I was teaching, and when I was still teaching, that's how I got into what I do in the summer camps, which I was teaching kids, and I was the head teacher for kids. And I had this group of kids, right? And I was teaching these kids for a couple of years, and I had this little kid who, I think his name was Pecho. And we were just discussing different nationalities, and I had cards with different people. And we got to the black person, right? And he was like, oh, fui.
Oh, God.
And then I was like, Peter, but why did you say fui? And he's like, well, I don't like them. And I was like, why don't you like them? Because they smell and they steal. I was like, but that's not true. That's generalizing. That was his father speaking, or his family.
Sure, for sure.
It wasn't that
It
kid.
always comes from parents.
Yeah, because that kid was the nicest. He saw that I was obviously bothered, and he looks at me. He's like, but I like you, Miguel. I like. So...
Yeah, well, everything like this comes from parents, or the... How do you say výchova?
I don't know.
No, the education is vzdelanie.
Bringing up, maybe?
How do you say? Čet, jak povieme výchova po anglicky?
I'm sure somebody will tell you.
Zatiaľ môžeme pozrieť, videl som tam členstva donations, vieš mi otvoriť? Hele.
Ludmila tier 1 člen. Wilkorn poslal 5 €.
Wilkorn.
Miguel, is there a restaurant in Slovakia where we can buy meal similar to meal from your home country? Sorry for bad English.
Something authentic from your country.
I mean, from my country exactly, no. But Mexico is quite close. We are very similar in cuisine. So you have Los Mexicas and Františkanské námestie.
And that's really good.
And it's more homely, right? And it's really, really made by Mexicans. And you also have mezcali, which is upscale.
Is it the first one you mentioned? Is it the one that when you go into like kind of
it's White Elephant, yeah. It's above is the hostel White Elephant.
Okay, I think when I went there, it was kind of weird, but maybe I just ordered weird food.
Probably. And if you're not used to it, you know.
Yeah, well, yeah.
And then mezcali, where I went with Luzina, for example. But if you want to try my food, my kitchen is always open. I always tell people that cooking is my passion.
Be careful with this. Be careful, Miguel. Because there's a lot of people.
Don't be weird.
And also, we are 63 minutes live. The first hour went like this. I told you. He was kind of nervous at the beginning.
So while we have Dusan, could I take a minute to thank some people?
For sure. Miguel, okay.
So we don't forget.
For people who don't know, Miguel is has his own channel, something po anglicky, where he interviews people in English, so you can learn some English there. And he also had Luzina there. He had Moon there. You had a lot of interesting guests. So he also has his moderators and his community. He would like to thank them here. So here you go.
Yeah. So actually, I always forget to do this, but especially after the Moon episode, it was a huge amount of people, and that was a nightmare. But I've built a group of people that are very nice. Some came from you, so thank you, and I'm sorry for stealing some of them.
Fine.
But they do double job. When it's your, they go.
Mm-hmm.
They go away from me. But I want to thank Nati.
Mm-hmm.
I want to thank Enki. I want to thank Cynthia, Digital Devil. She makes great art, man.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she made some great designs. LC, Ludmila, Lou, and Sandy. So, guys, you're the real MVPs. And I'm here partly because of you. So, thank you.
Hey, I was talking to you in September about our podcast. I was telling you it's coming, so it's fine. Don't worry.
I was worried that, it's... Why? Why do it with me? Like,
it's interesting story. I mean, this is maybe not the content that will get like hype or maybe like be super viral, but it's a good story to come back to. Maybe it's if someone is moving to Slovakia, he would like to hear this story.
Yeah, you have a good point. But finishing my point about foreigners, quite often they are complaining about these acts of discrimination or racism, like that somebody was rude to them at the Potravin, and I'm like, that's how they treat everybody.
Yeah, well,
it's not just you. That Jeta is gonna be pissed at everybody.
Yeah,
not
well,
just
that's
you.
true. I mean, the common thing in Slovakia, especially in Potraviny, is that they are sometimes rude.
But everywhere, I think that as foreigners,
the
we are
time.
not used to the way that customer
Yeah.
service is.
Well, I can assure if there's anyone who's foreigner in Slovakia and someone is really like a dick to you at groceries, don't worry, they're a dick to me as well.
That's what I tell everybody.
Yeah, well, usually in the evening hours because there's a lot of people after the work that go shopping, and so the ladies are really pissed about some customers, and they usually just bring it out to you.
Sometimes it's an interesting experience, because every time that I go to the shopping center and I go to some shop, I usually have my own personal predavačka that follows me everywhere.
Really?
And helps me with my shopping.
Really?
Yeah.
Never happened to me.
I know. It seems to be an experience just for me. That happens.
I'm surprised you're having such a good time in Slovakia. I'm surprised you're here for 16 years.
The thing is that this place has given me a lot of opportunities. It has opened a lot of doors. If I was back home, Dusan.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. I couldn't imagine from your perspective because you had it hard back then, And coming to Slovakia from your perspective sounds like a great thing and you having a good time. But you are the only person in the world that is enjoying Slovakia, my man.
No, I tried to be, the ambassador for Slovakia. I think that a lot of things that people don't appreciate. I mean, mainly I would say that Slovaks that don't like Slovakia or that don't appreciate everything need to travel to where I'm from.
I mean, I like the country as a whole, but I don't like a specific mentality of some people.
For sure.
The worst thing about Slovakia or the Slovak people, I think, it's that they're not welcoming about new stuff,
But I mean, imagine that's your biggest problem, and imagine that
I know,
from Guatemala,
I know.
it's like crossing the street and getting stabbed.
Sure.
Which, by the way, why do you have a knife here?
For unboxings.
Okay, I was like,
don't worry,
if the podcast doesn't go well,
under the soundboard, I have knife ready.
Can I take it out?
But it's it's on your side, so you can use it, not me. That's for unboxings. It's fine.
Look, guys.
Yeah. Michal had it there.
Are you not Guatemalan by any chance?
No. Look at me. If I'm something, I'm Irish.
Yeah, but it could be like my father has blonde brother.
Really?
And yet, like, we are completely mixed. Like, can you look at my beard? There are some red hairs there.
Really?
Well, yeah, kinda.
I don't know where they came from. I need to have a talk with my mom.
Michal actually was Michal from Menmonga was actually telling me that we should do the. How is it called?
23andMe.
And me, 23andMe? Okay, so you should do that as well.
Yeah, but I don't know where to buy it. I've been wanting to do it for years.
From the website.
But it's in the US only. I don't know if you can
I don't think so. He did it.
But he's smart.
That's the thing. He's really smart.
He knows how to...
We need to ask him.
Yeah.
You should come to me to Prague. With me to Prague, sorry.
If you figure it out, please let me know. Let a brother know.
Okay, sure. I mean, I think he told us with Roman that he will buy it for us. I don't know. I will ask
he
him.
did say it. I remember it.
Okay. Yeah. We will actually have another episode before Christmas about
I'm
food,
looking
guys.
forward to that.
Yeah, so you need to watch. Okay, let's check questions from people. Guys, you can always ask questions in the community tab or in the chat of this podcast. So right now I'm going to check the community tab and we will check some questions that people have for you, Miguel.
Sure.
There's 81 questions.
Oh, Jesus. We have a lot of time.
Yeah, well, we have a lot of time. It's fine. Okay.
I saw some interesting one. While you're looking for it, I remember one that asked if I would prefer to fight 100 children or eat them or something like that.
Well, that's usually that's a basic question. If you would fight 100 chicken-sized horses or one horse-sized chicken.
Oh, jeez.
That's a tough one, right?
That is a tough one, but I would fight the 100 kids. For sure.
Don't quote him. Don't quote him on that. Yeah. Okay. Which traditional Slovak foods or drinks do you like the most?
So, I love brincové halušky.
Okay, you are the one of the few people that like brincové.
But it fills me up really quick. And the best one I had was in Spišská Nová Ves with milk. Mm-hmm. Can you imagine that?
Spišská Nová Ves.
With milk. I was drinking it eating it with milk.
Yeah. Well, that's common.
That was extremely weird for me.
It's weird. It's really filling. It's really like heavy on you, but that's what I mean. A lot of traditional food and drink in Slovakia comes from rotten cheese.
Yeah.
So yeah,
unfortunately.
Unfortunately, but some of it's really.
But that was still not the weirdest thing. I mean, later that day we were drinking domaca, and the brsta was milk as well.
Yeah, well, actually, we had that on.
You had milk?
Well, in the event, you were there in my event. Maybe. No, but we didn't drink domaca. We drank 80% rum.
Oh yeah.
And we flushed it down with milk, but it was great. It worked.
I have to say that it worked, but it was so weird.
It was weird, and I vomited as fuck. But it worked.
I asked the person, like, why are you drinking milk? And she said to me, well, if you're gonna puke, you will puke whatever. Yeah. It doesn't matter what.
So you like brincové halušky?
I like brincové halušky.
Okay, brincové halušky. Have you made your own? Have you made
Yes.
Okay.
And I make it from potato, not from a box.
Yeah. Sure. We did as well with Roman.
Let's make that clear. And about the drink, while you're looking for the next question, the drink that I enjoy the most. Jesus, that's such a hard question. But I really enjoy domaca.
Really?
Palenie is good. And actually...
Really?
Yeah.
I hate it.
Not a lot, though.
Yeah.
Because I get trashed after 3 shots. I have a gift
for you, actually, but I will tell you after the podcast.
I love gifts.
It's a really special gift.
My favorite drink that I ever had was in Levice. Because I actually traveled all over Slovakia. In Levice, I was at a garden party with my friend Kubro. And actually, this is such a shameful story, but I guess he would want me to tell it. And... his father had planted these feferonky and dried them.
And made alcohol from that?
No. Oh, God, no.
That's a common thing in Slovakia. You make alcohol from everything.
I was like bragging, I was like, yeah, I can handle spicy food. Like, not a problem. And he gave them to me and put it on my food. Man, my asshole was burning. And I was at the party, like I got some stomach problems. I don't know what. I was in the toilet for like an hour. And then I came back and I had this domaca. I can't remember if it was slivovica, but it was 30-year-old slivovica. Man, I've never had better alcohol than that. Okay. It was delicious.
Okay. If there's any domaca I like, it's from ginger.
Because you're ginger.
Yeah.
It keeps you ginger.
It kind of feels like it's when you have ginger tea, it kind of feels good for your throat and everything. You feel better when you get it.
I never had it, and I don't like ginger so much.
You don't like ginger? Okay, well.
I have 2 things that are horrible. Super taster and super smeller.
Okay.
So things like ginger are too strong for my taste buds.
Even like onion or...
Sometimes it can be, but the good thing about it is I'm able to tell what's in food easily. I can recreate recipes from tasting them.
Really? Yeah. Okay.
That's not always, but I can. If I don't get it right the first time, I will adjust things. And also, when I was working for a coffee shop, I was able to, for example, smell the coffee.
You worked at Starbucks even in Slovakia?
Yeah, I actually. So. One of the things that when I came to Slovakia that I really missed was a big city.
Okay.
Because even when I was in Latin America, cities are big, right?
Yeah,
I
sure.
miss the contact with the people. So I used
As
to...
an introverted person.
No, I mean, just, not speaking with them.
Yeah, just
Fully.
see a lot of
Like,
people.
I want to see you. I don't want to talk to you. But
Creep. Okay.
that's my middle name. Miguel
Creep.
Angel Creep Gonzalez Hernandez. Thank you, Mom.
Nice.
But I used to travel to Vienna every week. Every week.
To Vienna.
Yes.
Okay.
Just to be in contact with civilization. Sorry, guys.
Fuck off, man.
And I used to go to Starbucks, and I made it wasn't a promise, but it was a joke that if Starbucks ever came to Slovakia, I would work for them.
Oh, really? Yeah, well, Starbucks wasn't here for a long time, yeah.
It wasn't. It came in 2015, I think.
Maybe, yeah. I was going to Prague every time for Starbucks, I remember.
2015, I think. But anyway, when I was in Outpark and I was walking past the cinema and I saw that Už Čoskoro,
Yeah, soon. Yeah.
I was like, what?
And you applied.
Now I have to work, but really really the underlying lesson there was that I wanted to practice my Slovak.
Okay.
Because
okay.
Many people wonder, like, why after so many years you don't speak Slovak, right? And the reality is that Slovak is fucking difficult.
Yeah, it's even for locals, it's kind of difficult.
And I went to school. I was at Štátna škola for several years. I have my B1 certificate of A1, A2, B1.
Okay.
But I couldn't say anything. And to learn a language effectively and to speak, you need to use it and practice it. And I just wasn't in a scenario where I use it because as a language teacher, people wanted me to speak English all day. In my corporate job, I only worked in English. So Starbucks was the only way. And I tell you that I worked for 5 years at Starbucks. The first few years, I was working a normal IT job from 9 to 5. But I would finish my job and then I would go to work at Starbucks till 10 or 11.
So you were hustling.
For so many years, I didn't have free time. Every weekend I was working. I had to do it because I wanted to improve my Slovak, and I also loved the job, right? Because it is, if you're a young person and you are trying to find a job, that's one great place to start.
Are you a coffee guy?
I was actually the coffee expert for Slovakia.
Okay.
I became, there's a program called Coffee Master, and I was a coffee master in the States, and I was determined to become the first coffee master in Slovakia.
But you are a big coffee person? Like you really like your coffee?
Not so much drinking it, but I like to teach about it.
Ah, okay. That's interesting.
So in that position, as I became the first Slovak coffee master, the first one with a black apron.
Let's go.
I became, and I was building the new ones. So I was giving out I was certifying the new coffee masters.
Okay, so you were like a coffee mentor.
Yeah, and I was also doing the media presentations too. So they would invite the press, and I would introduce them to the new drinks, the new coffee.
You should have like a Starbucks gold medal.
I do.
You have? Really?
They're called pins, but
okay.
So I have plenty of them, but I miss it sometimes.
Well, maybe you should have, like maybe when you are really big with your channel, you should have like sponsorship from Starbucks or something like that.
Maybe, or I will do coffee tastings and.
That's not a bad idea.
Something.
Yeah. Okay. Vitek Cisar is writing in the chat. Hello there, guys. Now I'm like minus 45 minutes, but I need to tell you, Miguel, you have had really interesting story behind. I'm really enjoying your speech, and I want to thank you for your workmate. Oh, thank you, man.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Let's check more community questions.
Sure. I'm ready for them.
How could he be so popular as he came to podcast?
I am not popular. It's just that I am friends with Dusan.
Well, I mean, Miguel. I think Miguel has a really like unique story, and how can I say it? So it's exactly how I think it in Slovak. Fucking hell.
I mean, I will make it easier for you. It is really unfair for most people here in Slovakia that. And I feel I guess this is one of the reasons I understand why some people are unhappy to be here. That doors open for me easier than for locals.
Okay. Well, maybe maybe the interesting story that can come from you is that you really enjoy Slovakia. I can bring maybe to young people your perspective of Slovakia, because I'm the same in a sense that I see Slovakia as a bad place to live in, maybe, but if you think it from if you look at it from different perspectives, it's really like a nice place to live in. So maybe that's the perspective I want to bring to young people in Slovakia. But also you have an interesting story as a foreigner that has been living here for 16 years and the story behind it. So that's why I invited you.
I met this guy from Microsoft called Martin. He's a good friend with Peter as well. And he was working in Microsoft in the US, and he's a high-level guy there. And he came back to Slovakia, and he said something that was very interesting to me, or very good, that he came back because he wants to make this place better.
Okay.
And that's one of the reasons that I also started my podcast. Because Slovakia now, and the world in general, but Slovakia because this is where I live, this foreign concept or things that are not Slovak are becoming scary for people. And I want to show that people like you, people like Moon, you guys learn the foreign language, you speak English, you accept it, and you can show, especially the young people, that they can get ahead by using English.
Yeah, sure. I mean, today English is kind of a necessity. You know, like if you want to travel or anything, everybody speaks English. You should definitely know English.
I know so many people, Dusan, that are so talented. They have a master's, even like PhDs, and they work as predavač in shops because of English.
Sure. That's the most common thing that happens, especially in Slovakia. Like you have the degree, you have the education, but you just are not brave enough to try it elsewhere maybe or something.
And imagine, here comes this foreigner that makes more money than a doctor or a lawyer.
Yeah, well, that's fucked.
Extremely.
That's yeah. I was actually talking about this in my video back in the day, that I know it's. I would be more happy if people like firefighters or doctors or anybody else could make money like we do, but that's the system. I mean, you cannot beat the system.
No, you cannot. I mean, you can try to fix it a little bit, but.
We need to talk to some authorities, Miguel. You need to become huge so you can talk to authorities.
One day. Where's Heger? Are you going to have him here? Or let's talk to Matovic.
Oh, please, no.
Cray.
No, please don't talk to Matovic, please.
Or to Suska.
Okay, so let's go back to questions.
Sure.
So we don't forget about the people that are watching. People are usually asking questions that we kind of answered by your story, so I'm kind of searching for.
Yeah, I saw that there was a lot of questions about what I think about Slovakia, and they know already that I like it. Oh, they ask if I was a character in a movie, who would I be?
Character from a movie?
Yeah, who would represent me? Who would represent you?
I don't know, some ginger.
But more about your personality.
I have no idea.
I thought about Andy Barkley from the Child's Play series.
Oh, okay.
Because he was kind of resilient. He had a killer doll after him, but he kept coming back. So that's kind of how I am.
Who would represent you as a chat? Who
like
do you
physically?
think? Maybe like a whole.
Like one guy wrote there that I looked like the professor from from Money Heist, Casa de Papel.
Sure, like Casa de Papel. That was a great show. I love the season 1.
It was amazing.
Yeah. Well, kind of. Now I see it. Yeah. When you talk.
I don't see it, to be honest.
Why?
I don't know.
Maybe if we put a wig on you and dressed you up.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe. He's coming up with his own series, Berlin.
Yeah. Well, then I don't know why, but okay. Okay, usually people are asking how we met, so we answered that.
What about the chat? Let's check if somebody has...
Yeah, you should check chat, and I will check...
I think your chat is going a little bit crazy because they want Slovak.
Yeah, well, that was in the beginning. You need to scroll down.
There's a very nice comment from Luisa. I'll read it while you're looking.
Yeah,
it
you can.
Man, I would like this guy to be my English teacher back in high school instead of that old Italian guy who was talking about all the girls he slept with. Yeshish Maria.
Jesus, in school? Fuck that.
That's completely inappropriate. Yeah, I learned to work with kids a lot because in a way, like I'm like a big kid, as you know. Well, not a surprise for you.
If you saw his apartment, you will immediately say the same thing.
But for the past, I think now it's more than 10 years. For the past Yes, since 16 years. I've been working at summer camps.
Yeah.
I'm volunteering for the past 4 years for free at this medical camp. And people find it difficult to work with kids, but I always find it that they give me back what I put in. One of my most memorable experiences is doing Zumba. So if you know how camps work, tabor, for those that don't know, it's scheduled, and then in the afternoon they have something. In the ones that I go to have choice activities. So all of the veduci, they make their posters, and the kids can sign up to go to activities, right? I of course had a disagreement with the head of the camp because of the activities I was doing, so I just named mine mystery activity.
What the fuck? Why?
So that he wouldn't know what I was doing.
Well, that was kind of sketchy.
Well,
If I was
that's
a
how I
parent-
am. So I would write mystery activity, nothing else, and the kids would sign up.
Okay, that's fine because kids are curious, but imagine you're a parent.
Yeah, but I mean, they knew me. I was already there for some time, right? But the mystery activities, sometimes they were nice, and sometimes they were bad for them. Like they would need to clean the camp or do something like that.
Okay.
Sometimes it was Zumba.
Okay.
And I remember that I had one mystery activity that turned into a Zumba, and it was 30 boys that signed up for it.
Really?
Yeah. And you can imagine that 30 boys in the summer out of school, when they wanted to do something else, they were dancing Zumba with me.
Did they enjoy at least?
They did.
Oh, okay, that's great.
Still, like when it was all about, like, they didn't want to come later on because of the friends, but I would catch it when I was teaching the girls on the side, the boys like shaking.
So you're also Zumba instructor.
I am.
You are. That's in your free time? Like you do that voluntarily as well?
Yes, it's actually one of my little passions.
Zumba.
Because I started with the Xbox, believe it or not.
Okay. You
Because,
played which one? Dance Central or Just Dance?
I was just getting a little tuchny, and I was like, I need to lose some weight.
And play video games as well.
The Connect came. Yeah, I mean, I needed to find a way because I hate going to the gym.
Yeah, right.
It's not my thing. So the Connect came out, and they released Dance Central, but also Zumba World Party.
Oh, okay. I didn't know. Okay.
This is actually, man, this story, you know, the original after the Xbox, the Xbox One, I actually couldn't buy in Slovakia because it was not released in Slovakia at the time. It came later, but I had to travel to Vienna and literally beg GameStop to give me one.
Really?
Yeah, because it was sold out completely.
Jesus.
So I just went in the morning and from Bratislava, and I waited there, and I finally got it with the Zumba World
thing.
Party.
Okay. And you get hooked on Zumba.
I was dancing for 5 years, like at home.
Okay.
And then one of my friends at work was like, you should really like come to a live class, Zumba. And I was like, but it's all girls there. And actually, it was the hardest thing because in Slovakia, it is really viewed as a girl thing.
Yeah, kind of.
And even the ladies there, they were suspicious because all of a sudden you have this
There's a guy.
brown man in the back like, is he here to dance with me, to exercise, or to look at my zadok?
Well, that's kind of, if you think about it from this perspective, that's kind of creepy.
Well, I mean, yes, I see
Okay.
it. So I would be at the front to avoid
Yeah, the suspicion. Yeah.
any suspicion, right? And whenever anybody was bending a different way, I would just like scoot to avoid being in direct contact. And
you became an instructor.
From that, I became an instructor. I specialized in kids too.
Now
Zumba
you can
kids.
see what video games can do.
I mean, it's all about pursuing what you like, right? Today, I got a really nice message on Instagram. One guy wrote me that he likes the podcast and that he likes to play basketball, and that he's having a new kid, so he needs to work more, and he was thinking of giving up
Basketball.
I was like, but he won't, because he said that he listened in one of the podcasts that I said that you shouldn't give up on your dreams and just follow it. And to me, that was like, it is also my thing about you'll find time to do what you
if
like.
You want to do, you can always find time if you want to do something that you love.
My philosophy is that when you say that you don't have time to do something, is because you don't want to do it.
Yeah, sure. I mean, that's the thing with me as well, because especially, we don't have water?
No.
Fuck.
Not never. It's
That's
fine.
fine.
We will survive.
Yeah, sure. lately I've been kind of busy. Like really, I wake up, I go here, I make videos or stream, and then I come home and then I kind of fall asleep. But every night I try to find some time to play video games because I love video games. I mean,
I want to know what exactly do you like about them?
Video games?
Yeah.
Well, usually I play competitive video games because I was really... When CSGO came out, I put like 2,000 hours in the game. I was really grinding the game.
That's a lot.
And I really kind of like... I also like story games. Like, don't get me wrong, I love... Especially Last of Us series, I love that shit. I love this narrative.
Not too.
But
I don't like it.
The thing I enjoy the most about video games is joining up with your friends and be competitive in a game, because if it's your passion, that's a different type of playing a video game. You know, like you're really trying hard to compete, and also it brings up something. I don't know. I really am a different person when I play video games than I'm in real life.
Do you feel that you are you?
Maybe, but sometimes it's really like, especially when you play FPS games. Usually people think about FPS games as just walk and shoot. But when you play games like CSGO or Valorant or really competitive games, you really need to come with some strategy at least, or maybe think before you shoot. And I love that because, you know, you can always kind of outsmart the enemy, not by being better at aiming or anything, but you can just come up with some situation that will work in your favor. And that's something that I kind of apply in my videos as well later, because everybody can make videos, but it's about making the videos that people are excited to watch. And that's something that I'm trying to apply, like thinking about it before I even start the camera and stuff like that, you know.
I'm an awful gamer.
Yeah, well, we were talking about
especially with first-person shooters, but I still play with my friends from the US. My best friend lives in Oregon. Thank you so much. And they have me playing there because I kind of make it funny for them of how bad I am.
Yeah.
I don't know why they love it, but I don't like being competitive.
Really?
Because I'm not good at it, right?
Well, you will be better with practice.
But the thing is that to be very honest, I don't want to put the time into FPS, right?
Well,
and
you don't
Modern
have
Warfare.
to. I mean, you can just play it casually. It's fine, you know?
Yeah, it's true. And that's what I do. Like, now I got into Dead by Daylight. But actually, I recently started streaming on Twitch.
Yeah.
No, I mean, that's not true. I was streaming during the pandemic, and I had like 500 followers back then. But I kind of gave up, and then it went down to like 50.
Oh, okay.
But I got back into it again, and I can tell you that I love it so much that I have 10 people that are there all the time. And I enjoy my game so much more, like reading the comments and having fun and playing my game, because normally gaming is like a solo experience, right? But with the added people, I think it's so great.
Yeah, I'm usually, especially nowadays, I enjoy more playing video games while I'm streaming when I'm alone, you know, because but that's kind of a workaholic thing, because I enjoy streaming. Don't get me wrong, I love streaming, but when I'm playing games by myself, I'm kind of feeling like I'm missing out something. You know, maybe when I was especially playing The Last of Us alone, I was like, I could have streamed this. You know, it's kind of a workaholic thing, though. I don't know.
Why don't you?
I'm not great at streaming story games because I'm trying to get to the story. I'm trying to be focused on the story, and that's when I'm kind of leaving the chat behind and don't really care about the chat. But also when I'm playing alone and trying to focus on the story, I feel like I should stream it because people are missing out something, or I'm maybe letting people down.
I think that you should, because with story games, like what I do, I make voices for the characters, for example.
Well, that's I'm getting really invested in the stories. You know, I kind of forget that I'm live streaming. That's maybe the bad part. That's why I'm usually doing like first impressions of the game. Well, like when I was doing, what did I did the Riders Republic. I did Modern Warfare 2. I'm doing the first impression thing. So
are you looking forward to God of War?
My God, dude! I will stream it day before the launch.
Jesus.
So Christ. You should subscribe Duklock Plus, because utorok. Pre tých, čo neviete, kedy,
I know I will be here. For sure. I'm so jealous.
Yeah, so utorok večer si to zapneme, dámy a páni, a bude to jeba. So yeah, I enjoy streaming, but I'm not good at streaming story games, so I kind of separate it from my niche.
I think you should go for it, even if you don't pay attention to the chat, because I think it's expected.
Well, I will be streaming the first couple of hours for sure, but I'm really sure, especially the God of War. I love the previous one, not the first one, because that's the different story. But I really enjoyed the previous one, and I'm pretty sure I will be enjoying it by myself. But there will always be the thing in back of my head that I should have streamed.
I'm gonna stream it for sure.
Okay.
What are your top games? Would you say?
Well,
outside of multiplayer, solo
okay,
games.
so solo games. Okay. Growing up, I used to love Krok. You know Krok?
I never played it, but I know.
Yeah. Well, all of these games: Cow the Kangaroo, Krok, Spyro. I loved Spyro.
Spyro has a new game as well.
Yeah. Well. And I loved the old Harry Potter games. Those games were amazing.
Was it with you that I was discussing the different...
Yeah, we was discussing this. Every platform had different Harry Potter game. Yeah, I loved the first two Harry Potter games on PC were amazing. I loved those. But the you said I should exclude the multiplayer games because I spent 14 years in World of Warcraft.
It's a long time.
I loved the game. I'm not loving now because it sucks ass, but back in the day,
it's like my Diablo 2. I spent 10 years on Diablo 2.
We were talking about this, yeah. I loved World of Warcraft for a long time, and also Counter-Strike. It was that game that I went to internet cafe to play because we didn't have internet at home, so I needed to go to next village that had internet cafe so we can play with the boys.
That's dedication, man.
Yeah, well, we loved it.
I kind of miss that setup, I don't know if it was like that here, but I'm old enough that when we wanted to do multiplayer, everybody had to have their tower PC, and we hooked up with the LAN cables to have a LAN party.
My cousin was actually living next door, and his father worked at some IT company. So their basement, it was two brothers and their father. In the basement, it was not a regular basement where you have just pile of shit, but they had a little LAN computer room, and every evening they went there and played video games.
That was the best thing to do.
Yeah, so I came there and I was even watching. I loved watching them play because they had really strong PCs and they were always playing together. And actually, my cousin got me to play World of Warcraft for the first time. Yeah. So when I get my first internet connection in my house, the first thing I did was make a World of Warcraft account on the free server. But
I think that kind of naturally happens when you play on PC. That obviously the multiplayer games will be there. I am a Nintendo guy, right? So mostly our single player experiences.
Yeah, sure.
But the Ocarina of Time, man, we need to do something there.
I want to play Ocarina of Time. I watched every video about Ocarina and Majora's Mask.
It's the highest rated game.
Ocarina of Time?
Yep.
Okay.
99 on Metacritic.
Fuck. Maybe in January when I have my little vacation every time I should play it.
For sure. And I told you I will give you the N64 controller so you can play it naturally.
So is it playable on the Switch?
Yes, you just need to get the
subscription.
Yeah.
Okay, sure.
And the controller is Bluetooth. So.
Okay, so is your favorite game of all time the Ocarina of Time? Or is it something else? You were talking about Mario 64 as well.
Yeah, I think that my favorite series is definitely Zelda. And yes, my favorite game has to be Ocarina of Time. I think even though there's so many great entries, there's a Game Boy entry. One of them is called Oracle of Time and one is Oracle of Seasons, and they are connected with each other. It was Capcom that made this game actually, and the games have an internal clock that it's really insane how it works. But what do I love about these games? The temples, for example. I love exploring a temple and getting to a boss. My favorite thing is the boss, right? That's why I was so disappointed with Breath of the Wild.
Okay.
Because
there's not really a boss.
It's the rehash of the same boss over in different forms, right?
Yeah.
And the Zelda series has always been epic because the bosses are so unique. Like every temple, you find one item, and you have to use that item to kick the boss's ass, right? Yeah. Like I remember, I think it's called Galactus, or I'm not sure, but it's a robot that has different arms, and you have to wait for him to swing, and then you have to steal his sword, and you have to go and hit him, so that you destroyed his armor. and then you are using a whip to pull his sword. So it's really cool.
Yeah, well, my first Zelda game was actually I think it was the Twilight Princess, but I was just playing it at my friend's. I never had a game of my own.
That's a great game, but it's very dark.
Yeah, well, but the first Zelda game I finished was Breath of the Wild. So I want to come back to those games because I never had the old Nintendos. The first Nintendo I had was the Wii. Maybe the Game Boy, but the proper console was the Wii, and never got the Skyward Sword. I wanted to play the Skyward Sword.
It's a difficult game. I would say that Link's Awakening is great.
Did they remaster?
Yes.
Okay.
It's
on Switch?
Actually, I have a collector's edition.
Of course you have collector's edition.
But I might be able to give you one if I still have double. I think I bought 2.
But you should keep the other one so you can sell it.
The thing is that why sell it if you will enjoy it?
Well, yeah. Okay. So
some things are more important than money.
Yeah, I know, but isn't the Link's Awakening the first Zelda game, or was it?
Oh, no. The first game, Link's Awakening, was a Game Boy game.
Okay.
So maybe it is the first Game Boy game. I'm not too sure of the story, but definitely.
No, they were definitely prequels of the Zelda story.
First game is on NES. Which
is it only called Legend of Zelda, or is
the
it
Legend of Zelda? Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know if I showed you my NES game collection.
I think you did.
Did I show you Metal Gear, the original Metal Gear?
Oh no,
NES?
you didn't. Okay.
That's one of my beauties too.
The original Metal Gear was actually it's not canon story, is it?
It is.
Is it?
It is Big Boss who's doing the infiltration.
Okay, but there's one Metal of Gears game that came on Nintendo, I think, that is not canon.
It's possible. Maybe Twin Snakes.
Maybe I don't know. It's not important. Let's check the chat. Okay, guys, let's have last 3 questions for Miguel, and then we're gonna wrap this up. So, in the chat, please give me 3 questions for Miguel that I can ask him, and then we're gonna wrap this. Remind me to give you the gift because I will forget.
Thank you so much. And the cards too.
Yeah.
It says, can I read one question that I found here?
Sure.
You can find another. It's from Dominic Malik. Miguel, how do you cheer somebody who doesn't have a motivation to do anything? You don't. Because I think that the mistake that people often make is they look at things that they don't really enjoy and think they want to do, but they don't want to do.
Yeah, sure.
If you really have
a problem of a lot of people.
I don't know why.
Well, maybe it's because, especially nowadays, you see on especially social media, you see things that you should want, like maybe get rich or hustle more or stuff like this. But people don't exactly want to do them or want to be those people but they think they should be those people. You know.
And this is the problem because when you really love something, I think that you will do it.
Yeah, sure, but they're kind of held back by the mentality of the social media. You know.
So my advice there is you don't push people to do what they obviously don't want to do, right? It's a waste of time. If people are interested, they will do it for sure. Or look for other things because sometimes, we are like horses, right?
Tunnel vision.
Yeah. We don't look on the other side and just explore different things that maybe other people think are not the best, but you need to find your passion.
Yeah,
right?
sure. And it's more easier today than it was in the past because you have access to everything today. So you should take advantage of that. So, who's your virtual crush? Character from game or a movie? Who's your virtual crush?
Oh God, that's such a complicated question. It used to be Lara Croft.
No, everybody at some point of their life had a crush on Lara Croft. Even
Zelda as well.
Okay,
I mean, the ears, a little off-putting, but if you let the hair down, it's okay. but she's beautiful. Oh, man. Maybe Princess Peach.
Well, fuck her. I mean, she always runs away.
I know, but the thing is, like, when we were younger with my friend, like, there was a crush, and I remember playing Smash Brothers, and we used to pause, like, the game just to look at her underwear.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, my God, man. You're down bad.
You could do that on the Nintendo 64.
If anyone from Zelda, I would go for Rosalina. Yeah, she's powerful as well. She can fuck Peach every time.
Impa as well.
Who? Impa?
Impa is one of the characters.
Yeah.
Who's the Sheikah warrior.
Mm-hmm.
Sheik, who is Zelda, actually.
And
but as a man.
Cover, yeah.
So I think those would be my digital crushes.
Mm-hmm. I was always going... if somebody would ask me about my virtual crush back in the day, it was always Triss from Witcher series.
Really?
Triss Marigold, yeah.
I think The Witcher came too late for me. And I was I was really late to the party with The Witcher because I really, really hate playing games where there's so many options. I'm really a linear guy. I know this is unpopular opinion, but I love knowing where to go next. And because when I have too many options, I don't know what to do.
Sure.
And sometimes you go to a mission and it's too difficult for you, and then I get frustrated.
Okay, so that's why I like games like Last of Us and stuff like that, because you don't have choices.
Yeah. But then again, that's a hard game too.
It is. Well, but what about the Zelda game? The Breath of the Wild, because that's really like... I mean, you have your goal.
Yeah.
But have you 100%ed the game?
Yes, I did.
You did?
Oh, no. I'm sorry. I did not, because I didn't collect the poops.
The poops?
There's 900 poops, Koroks.
Oh, Korok seeds.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
And when you collect those...
There's 900.
Yes.
Okay.
900 throughout the map. When you collect them all, you get a poop.
Oh, what?
Nintendo trolling big time, dude.
Oh, fuck that.
You didn't know?
No, I didn't finish. I maybe did all the shrines.
I did all the shrines just because I wanted the green tunic.
Okay, yeah, exactly. And then I got the DLC, and it brought more shrines, I think. So I
Time
I
trials.
gave up.
I didn't do that.
But I did collect the Majora mask, because enemies won't attack you if you have the Majora mask. And I collected the motorcycle, yeah.
Me too. I was playing that as well, but that's the only thing I didn't do. But I did every single shrine, which I don't normally do because I don't... Once I'm done with the game, how I keep up my addiction with buying stuff is I sell them. So immediately after I finish a game, if I don't give it to somebody, I go and sell it back to the store and buy a new game. Okay. Same thing with Apple Watch and iPhone, whatever.
Yeah, well, I do that with Apple stuff as well. Yeah. When I'm done using that, I will just give it away or maybe sell it. So yeah, I understand.
We have 2 more questions, right?
Yeah, we need 2 more questions, guys. Where are the subtitles? Nice maniac. If you watch anime.
I do.
Okay, what's your favorite anime?
Without a doubt, Neon Genesis Evangelion.
Okay, I haven't seen
Have you? Okay, so that's another thing.
Is that about the mechas?
It's a little bit, but it's actually... So the whole premise, for those of you that don't know, is that it's kind of has a subtone of undertone of religion. The earth is being attacked by angels. And angels are represented as these huge kaiju creatures, right? And humanity's only hope are these mecha that are made partially from the remains of these angels. Yeah.
Okay.
But it's such a story, dude. And actually in Japan, they just released like over the past 10 years, 4 movies to redo the whole series. Because the guy who made the series, the last 2 episodes are... The way it ended is garbage. And he got so many death threats and stuff. So they went back to make it. But that series is...
Okay.
Is pure storytelling. Beautiful.
Okay. I know this thing about you. You love horror movies.
I love it.
What's your favorite horror movie?
Child's Play.
Child's Play.
Without a doubt.
Okay. And what's your favorite horror game?
Horror game.
You played any horror game?
I don't play any of.
You should.
But no, actually, I'm lying. I play Resident Evil.
Yeah, sure.
But that's become an action game.
Yeah, well, kinda.
It's not really a horror game. I couldn't play 7 in VR.
Yeah, I did. It was amazing. I loved it.
Oh God, no! I got the demo of the kitchen, and I was done.
Pozdrav
Somsa.
I think the Resident Evil 7 with the VR is actually better gameplay because you're aiming with your head. When you're shooting, you aim like this. You don't aim with...
I wasn't even worried about gaming. I was worried about what's behind me.
Well, yeah, but that's better because you can just look. Don't have to wait for the joystick. I loved it. I loved it. It was great.
It's not... Imagine this, that I love watching horror, but I cannot play it. It's just too much stress for my tiny little heart.
I think horror games I think horror in video games is better. It's more entertaining for you because you actually have to do something to survive. You know, I especially love survival horror games because it really puts you in the shoes of the character.
Man, I was watching you play that game where you have to turn the lights off and go to sleep, and I was in a huge amount of stress, and I wasn't even playing.
Yeah, well,
I don't even like to watch the. Like now, I have this friend who we work together, Mr. D. Is his name, and he started to stream on Twitch, and he's playing this Outlast with a heart monitor.
Yeah.
And I'm stressed the hell out just watching him play. I can't.
Yeah, well, I'm actually looking forward for the next Outlast. It should be when is it coming out, guys?
No.
There was open beta on Halloween, but I didn't play because I want to experience the whole thing.
I would be too scared to do it.
Really?
Like,
but you love horror movies.
I know, but it just doesn't work. Like, for example, The Evil Within. You remember that?
Yeah. Which one? The original?
The original one.
Yeah.
Like, that was hard for me. And the second one, there was one part that I was so scared.
Which one?
It's one part where a guy is following you. And I think this is what gets me the most.
Yeah, when someone is there, but you don't know.
I absolutely hated the new remake of, Resident Evil 3.
I haven't played that one.
Well, it's basically the nemesis following you.
Yeah.
I just can't enjoy it. Like,
yeah, well, yeah, that's the most scary thing in the video game for me, especially in VR when you hear steps coming for you. I hate that shit, and you cannot see what the fuck it is. You know, especially we played Phasmophobia. You know the game?
No.
It's the game
but
where
Roman mentioned it.
Yeah. It's the game where you are a ghostbuster. Basically, you need to go to the house, find clues about the ghost, and guess the right one. You know, so you just basically go into house with the walkie-talkie, and you just scream to walkie-talkie, "Give me a sign," and the ghost is supposed to respond. But also sometimes the ghost can attack you, and if he kills you, you're done. You just lost your equipment, money, everything.
This reminds me of two things. The Fatal Frame series.
Okay.
Have you heard about it?
Yeah. Is the one when you take pictures?
Yeah. Never.
Fuck that game.
Never in my life.
No.
So this is true horror. And the second thing is about the Ghostbusters game.
Yeah.
Can we play that? I think the three of us could play that.
I already played that, and it's so fucked up when you get a
no, don't tell me
your
that.
team. It's fucked up.
Oh god, but it looks so good. Have you seen it?
It's great. It feels so good, but it can be like destroyed by the other player if you have a bad player as a ghost.
Inexperienced players, yeah.
But I mean, if we play it together with friends.
Okay.
Yes, but we need. You can play only as a ghost, or 4 of them as a ghostbuster. And if the ghost is the bad one in the group, it's fucked up. Because you can play like I think you can play as a ghost in 5-member party.
So maybe we get a 5 people party because that game looks amazing, dude.
Well, first of all, you need to play Phasmophobia.
Okay.
In VR.
I don't have a VR set anymore. I sold it to buy the new Meta Quest, and guess what happened? It's 1,500 euro.
Fuck that. No,
Actually, it will be more even now.
Maybe.
But maybe I'll come play it with you.
Well, so I can finish the thing about VR horror, because in the Phasmophobia, you basically do the same shit that you do in Fatal Frame. You need to photograph the ghost and videotape him and get all the clues. And when he attacks you, you can only see him for a brief second. Then he is invisible. And he just comes to you. And the steps and in the VR, and you need to hide in the closet. The whole thing is just so fucked up.
And it doesn't see you when you hide in the closet?
If he sees you going into the closet, he will get you in the closet. But if you can kind of outrun him and go around the corner and then get into closet, you're fine.
And that's the worst for me, like when you can't fight back.
Yeah, I love it. It's great.
I just get, like, I like running away, but if you cannot do something and it just kills you.
Well, yeah, that's kind of fucked. That's why they gave to the player a choice to buy a crucifix. So if you have it in your hand and he attacks you, he will kind of, And you have to buy it?
Like,
you need to buy it. It's your choice to buy protective shit.
Like for real money?
No.
Oh, okay.
In-game currency.
Oh,
There's no microtransactions.
If it was my choice to buy protective gear, I have the priest thing and the rosary and the holy water.
Yeah. So I
Everything.
love that game, but they don't make any new content for the game, so that sucks.
It's a shame.
Okay, let's have a last question
Last
for you, Miguel.
otázka.
Let's see. Cikindales, díky. Ty máš aj tunak toľko mesiacov člena, ďakujem ti krásne. OK. Let's see. Well, people are asking why did I choose to make this podcast in English?
I know they're not very happy about it. I'm
Yeah,
sorry,
well,
guys.
fuck that.
I'm sorry about the, but I think you wouldn't get to know me if we spoke in Slovak. Like, I can defend myself, but honestly, there is no way that even with many years here, I would be able to express who I really am.
Yeah.
Right. So
Positive note. Miguel, what's your advice for young people who are lazy and demotivated to go for their goals and dreams? So let's motivate people in the end of this podcast. Let's go.
yeah, I think that you need to. This is something actually that you were helping me with, and I just recently realized. Because I think also I'm a little bit guilty of that. That I think young people want things too fast.
That's true.
And I think that what young people need to understand is that things take time. And you need to work for those things, right? Because again, this comes from you. You were the one that told me that when you have that instant gratification or things just happen, you don't appreciate them.
you
Or
don't. That's why people, especially like young people who get access to really quick money, they're not thankful for what they have, you know.
it happens often that kids that get an apartment from parents or a car from parents, they that's Moon was talking about this, that he's gonna make his kids work for their things, right? Not pay for school, but
okay. But let's say you want to motivate someone. Let's say you are teaching English in school. It's like 9th grade, and the kid don't know what to do, you know, after school, or maybe what the fuck does he want to do in his life. How can you motivate him to do something?
I think it goes back to what we were discussing before, finding something that you really enjoy, something that you really want to spend your time in and that you like, not that other people tell you that you should do.
That's what I wanted to tell the people that are watching. Maybe don't lie to yourself. Just find something you actually enjoy doing. And it doesn't matter. You like painting, you like fucking knitting, you like...
I like knitting, but I suck at it.
Well, if you love doing something, you should just do it. And maybe try to be the best at it. That's maybe good advice.
And peer pressure. This is a huge thing at young people's age, like other people pressuring them. Like Zumba is a clear example of this. Like I always have people questioning or writing me that I look really gay. Or yesterday I had a Zumba event for 3 hours and I was dressed up and down Hello Kitty merchandise from Zumba, right? I don't care going on the bus or anything.
You had time of your life.
They called me, I think when I was going to the city to visit a friend because he was at a bar. I was called, can I say the word B? No, I will not say it, but the word B for gay.
Buzz.
Buzz. Like 3 times. And I didn't care because that's what I want to do. That's my passion. Those people don't give me money. They don't do anything to me. You need to go for what you like. You need to enjoy it. And you can't be concerned about what other people think.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened to me when I started doing YouTube videos. When I started doing my YouTube videos, I was usually editing them in school. And some of my, how do you say spolužiak?
Classmates.
Classmates, yeah.
See, I know Slovenčina.
Yeah. See, you can teach me as well. So some of my classmates were making fun of me, like, what the fuck am I doing? It's so cringy, it's unfunny and everything. I was when I was watching foreign YouTubers, I know that it's possible to make it happen, to make it a living, especially my colleagues of YouTube. I was seeing them growing and stuff, and I was really believing that it can be a huge thing and make me... I could make something that I love and make a living out of it. Yeah.
Look at after 10 years.
Yeah. And
you put the grind.
Yeah.
You did it. Just like, have you seen Iraq new video that he made it to 10 million followers?
Iraq.
He's a YouTuber. He's like he was showing his journey, right? And it's again going back to putting the work and not expecting it to.
But it's about the process. If you don't love the process, well, fuck that. You should. The goal isn't like maybe having million subscribers, or in your perspective when you are trying to sell a picture for $1 million or something. It's the process. I really love making videos. I really love thinking about ideas for the videos. I really love the whole process. So yeah, you need to find something that you genuinely like doing, you know.
And that's key to being happy in life.
Yeah, sure. Because then you find stubborn people who just hate what they do, and they just, you know.
And I guess another realization that I had on this topic is that when you meet those people that tell you that your content is stupid or it's cringy or lame, it's because they're jealous.
Usually.
Or they're unhappy about their lives. I had this situation with one of my mods, Sendis. He's a young kid. He's 14. He's on YouTube making videos. He actually, this is not my first podcast as a guest. I had on his channel my first podcast. And he has these classmates that tell him, "What are you doing? It's cringe." Like, I'm just like, do what you enjoy.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, in 10 years, you'll be laughing all the way to the bank.
Sure. Well, thank you, Miguel, for coming.
My pleasure.
Let's wrap this up. And don't forget to subscribe to Something po Anglicky so you can learn something about the guests and maybe some English, because you need English today. I mean, it's good for you to know English. So, thank you, Miguel. See you guys next time.
Thank you, guys.